This is Josh Friedman, the Nomadic journalist, coming to you once again from home base in Sofia, Bulgaria. But unlike the video that I shot earlier this week, in which I was talking about how mild the weather is, it is not sunny here, rather it is snowy here. I'll give you a little bit of a glimpse. Not that snowy at the moment. Some cars and rooftops covered in snow. Anyhow, if a Bitcoin transaction goes through in the next 36 hours or so, then I will be getting out of the snow and heading to Mexico this week. That's right. For the first time ever, I have tried to pay for a flight using Bitcoin. I use this platform called cheapair.com? I believe so. Anyway, if that's incorrect, I'll put a note in correcting that. Regardless, very interesting that now cryptocurrencies are advancing to the point where apparently you can pay for flights across the world using Bitcoin. And it was, granted, we don't know if this transaction has gone through yet. I'm probably booking this at a bit too much of the last minute. It's Sunday afternoon right now, and I booked a flight out of here for Tuesday morning, and that might be a little risky given how long it has taken in recent months and years for Bitcoin transactions to go through. This has been the big issue with Bitcoin as a currency and as a network and a blockchain, that the transaction speeds have been very slow and the transaction fees or costs have been very high. And because of that, there's been a huge debate and infighting over scalability. And I'm not going to get into all that right now, and some of that I think I've already discussed in the past. Anyway, if this transaction goes through, then yes, I will be headed to Mexico City, then en route to Acapulco, where there's this conference called Acapulco that I've been discussing going to for a long time and have put off to the very last minute, which was not a wise decision. And the conference itself is already sold out, but it's more of a week-long or even month-long event as opposed to just the actual conference. And there are side events and side conferences and all kinds of activities going there, and there are a couple people that I would like to meet with and visit there. So I am hoping this Bitcoin transaction goes through. And regarding the process of booking this flight using Bitcoin, it was so incredibly easy. All I had to do was select the flight and then basically log into my Coinbase account and click a couple buttons, and the transaction was immediately pending, and hopefully it gets out of this pending status in time for this transaction to go through and for me to actually purchase these airline tickets and get out of the cold and snow here and head to Mexico, albeit only briefly, only for about a week, if this transaction actually goes through. So this is something for you to look into and consider, the fact that we're making some developments with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies on a currency end, as opposed to just being an asset to trade or store or hoard or hodl, whatever the term is that you want to use. I would very much love to see a lot of people start using Bitcoin, or if not Bitcoin, other cryptocurrencies as actual currencies, because they have so much potential to eliminate middlemen, to revolutionize the banking industry, to make transactions across borders much faster, cheaper, and easier. At least I hope so, and I tend to think that we're heading in that direction. And if I indeed manage to book a flight across the world using Bitcoin, then I think that is a sign that we're heading in that direction. Now, regarding some other things that are happening right now, I spent much of the past couple days cranking out a long article about the Bilderberg conference, which usually takes place in early June, and it is probably going to take place in early June this year, and I hope to be there, at least on the outside, as it's a closed conference to the public, and even the journalists who are invited to attend do not report on it. I was there a couple years ago on the outside in Dresden, Germany, and I hope to be back there perchance in Turin, Italy. That is because there was a strange development late last month in which the Serbian government put out a press release announcing that Serbian Prime Minister Ana Brnabić was invited to attend the conference, and the press release stated that the conference is going to take place June 7th through 10th in Turin, Italy. And that, if it's not misinformation, is a huge surprise, in that the Bilderberg group tends to closely guard the date and location of its conferences up until weeks or even days before the actual event. They try to keep things pretty secretive. They don't want a huge crowd of protesters and hecklers and reporters standing outside, so they tend to only release the information about the conference at the last minute, or maybe 5 weeks before, or something like that. Well, the Serbian government, if this is indeed accurate information, then this is probably just an accidental leak. Probably amounts to them just not really understanding the Bilderberg group and the Bilderberg conferences. It could just be that this is an innocent leak on the part of the Serbian government. Nonetheless, it's very interesting, and for the Balkan region, this could possibly be a sign that the developments that are taking place right now with the Bulgarian presidency of the European Council and the push for Brussels to speed up the integration process of bringing the Western Balkans into the European Union. They've set a target date of 2025 for Serbia and Montenegro to become EU members. There's a lot of action with this going on right now, particularly during this Bulgarian EU presidency for the first half of 2016, and there's supposed to be a summit coming up here in May on the Western Balkans, and right now Greece and Macedonia are in talks about resolving the Macedonian name dispute. That might be able to unlock Macedonian NATO membership and pave the way for EU membership in years to come for Macedonia. So I think there are a lot of interesting developments right now going on with the Balkans, and I covered that in this article, which you can read on freemanpost.com or on steemit.com/@freemanreporter, where I go into detail about this Serbian government press release, the invitation of Brnabić, some history and background about the Balkans and Bilderberg and what's going on right now in the Western Balkans, and how Bulgaria as a country and current president of the EU Council is taking interest in all of that. So if you find any of that interesting, then please feel free to find the article and share it, whether share the Freeman Post article, or on the Steemit version you could give it an upvote or re-steam it, as they call it, if you'd like. And if you haven't already signed up for Steemit, I highly recommend that you do so. Given that I started this off talking about Bitcoin, I might as well discuss how there's this incredible blockchain invention in the world of social media, which is Steemit, that is, at least to this point, seemingly solving some core issues with social media, having to do with censorship, having to do with users being compensated for the data they provide and the effort and the time and the activity that they put into various social media platforms. Steemit actually pays its users in the Steem cryptocurrency, which has gone up significantly in value over the past year, and I think there's incredible potential for the Steemit platform, and maybe in the future, if that does not pan out as the new type of social media, then maybe there's going to be some other blockchain platform that emerges and is the Facebook to Steemit's MySpace. So regardless, I think that Steemit is a very impressive invention, and I think it's already working very well, and I encourage whoever is not already on there to at least take a look at it, if not join it. It's a great way to learn both about blockchain and cryptocurrencies without having to put any of your own money into it. You can if you want, and it'll increase your standing on the site if you do so, but you can start making some cryptocurrency on Steemit without actually investing any of your own cryptocurrency or money in it to begin with. So here we are talking about Bitcoin, blockchain, the Balkans, Bilderberg, all interesting topics, all topics that I will be discussing, plenty more to come this year and over the next 5 months, regardless of whether or not this Bitcoin transaction goes through and regardless of whether or not I get out of the snow and head to Mexico this week. Well, my hands are starting to get cold, so I'm just going to hope that this transaction does go through and I do get out of here and I do head to Mexico very shortly. So thank you very much for watching. Please leave this video a like if you liked it and subscribe to the channel. Do widzenia od Sofia. Goodbye from snowy Sofia, Bulgaria.